What up? I'm in here a little bit early. Hola. Wagwan. Is Ricky Tan in here? Don Williams. Who is Ricky Tan? Hmm. What up, party people? Everybody come in here. Say what's up to your brother Zoe. Louisiana. Louisiana. Here we go. Anywho, good evening to the great people. Did I miss something in Zynga? I did miss something. What did I miss? Everybody, please hit the like button. Please like it up. We need those likes. It's 30 people, only 12 likes. It's only 9:01. I would love for you guys to call in early. Because I want to know, well, you'll hear about it when we tell you what the topic is. Can you guys hear any music? Are you Jim Jones' little brother? Yeah.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games. Man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
Tummy hugs. Thank you. Woohoo! Protect your home. In the back of the head, chase away evil forces. So long as you bring the offerings.
So tonight I want to start a new series on shame. And I want to just give you a little bit of why I want to do this series to get you so you're understanding where I'm coming from. 15 years ago when I started working in the addictions industry, I was asked by my boss to prepare a brand new workshop for the treatment center I was in on the subject of shame. And I didn't have a clue what it was, so I read the books that were available on shame and I put together a workshop. The first time I taught it, I saw the impact it had on people coming out of addiction and trauma. And I thought, wow, this is a big topic. But I also saw that it was a super heavy topic. By the end of the workshop, people were having all kinds of memories stirred up by the stuff we were talking about. They were feeling pain at a deeper level than they had felt for a long time. And for a lot of people, it just became too much. It was overwhelming for them. The second thing I noticed is that some of the people before the workshop started said, I don't have any shame. And I started asking clients at the beginning of the workshops from that time on, how much shame do you have? And most would say, I don't have any shame. And by the end of the workshop, they were saying, I got all kinds of shame. And what I realized, it was a topic that people didn't understand and were very unaware of any of it in themselves. But it was once they became aware of it, they began to see how it affected every area of their life. And they began to realize that this was going to be one of the most important areas for them to deal with if they were going to make it in recovery. So that's part of why I want to do this series, because what I have seen since REACT started, and 3 years ago yesterday, REACT began, and what I have seen is the week that we do on shame, for many people, is one of the toughest weeks, but one of the most important weeks of their time at REACT. So it is a poorly understood issue, but it is a super important issue. And nobody from complex trauma is free of shame. Everybody from complex trauma has some shame. So we're going to start this series, but I want to put this out up front. This may stir up some very painful stuff. If it does, you have my permission to tune me out for a while so you don't get overwhelmed. I can't do all of the material in one night. I can't give you all the tools for healing in this first night,
But those tools will come in ensuing nights that we are spending on this topic. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, feel free to just tune out for a little while. Now, what I want you to understand is shame, by definition, is not an emotion. It is a core belief about yourself, about who you think you are. There will be emotions that go with that we call shame emotions, but at its core, by definition, shame is a core belief about myself. Who am I? That is the question. And so what shame means is I have a negative view of myself. I see myself as not having a lot of value, not being very lovable. Therefore, I see myself as not being good enough, and therefore less than others around me. I would say 100% of people with complex trauma have some shame. The greater the complex trauma, the greater the shame, but everybody with complex trauma has some shame. In other words, complex trauma affects your core belief about your identity.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason has returned to the scene of the class. That's what these are. These are discussions. The scene of the class, right? And I know sometimes the topics are difficult to say the least, but I'm not afraid to engage. Tonight's topic, heavy topic. Woo-wee. If you don't address your shame, you'll never be able to claim, and then all you'll do from that point on is blame. Claim can only come out of sitting with one's shame, accepting it, not judging it. Tonight's topic, divine reconstruction. Are you under attack or under construction? I want to know. Subtopic, a deeper look into Dr. David R. Hawking's map of consciousness and shame. Can shame be used to inspire and motivate healing? Is shame inherently harmful? Now, before I even get into my synopsis and my subtopics and all of the rigmarole, people have been coming to me. Listen, whenever, let me just give you this up front. Whenever you're listening to anybody, right? I don't care who they are. I don't care how credentialed or not credentialed they are. They are not an expert of you and your experience, right? You are the only expert of you. And what bothers me about our people and people in general, the way our mind is set up, we look for familiar patterns or patterns that make sense to us. And then where there is a pattern, there will be a parrot, someone to parrot another's work, right? What I want you to do is to understand why I frame these topics in the way that I do. So, people have been reaching out and I guess trying to get me to respond in a negative way, but I'm not going to do it. People have been talking about, oh no, we shouldn't focus on healing. We should focus on growth. And I'm saying wherever you got it from, those people or person you got it from probably worked really hard to create that distinction. What you need to do is to discover that, whatever concept it may be, within yourself. And once you discover the truth of who you are, you start to understand truth in everything. So there is no competition. There's no need to be competitive. There's no tit for tat. But let's be clear. The word heal, because some people are taking offense to the word heal, right? Heal is a bastardized term now, just like the word narcissist or love or God or anything, right? Just overly used and poorly understood. Well, let's get back to the etymology of the word heal, right? Old English means cure, save, make whole, sound, and well. Well, if we get into the work of Carl Jung said, you're not a full human being. You're not fully yourself until you become fully integrated. The shadow must be integrated into the persona. That's what therapy and all of this stuff was supposed to be about. I believe you have a bigger say, right, in terms of integration than a therapist. A therapist, like a guru, what does the word guru mean? It means pointer, one who points. A therapist is pointing at the work that only you can do. So, cure. You are the cure for you. Save. You are Hamashiach for self. You are the Messiah of self. Make whole. Carl Jung. Integrate your shadow. Boom, right? Integrate your shadow with your persona, right? For people who didn't know, Hamashiach, the Mashiach, the Messiah, right? In Arabic, El Masiha, right? The word just means to anoint, to rub oil. That's all it is. The ancient Egyptians used to do it when they were doing their coronation for their pharaohs. Of course, pharaoh is not a Kemetic word. They didn't even use the term pharaoh. But the word Messiah comes out of those ancient Kemetan rituals when they would take the fat from Sobek, right? Sobek was the alligator god. They would take the tail from the fat and melt it down from the alligator, well, not an alligator, actually, it's a Nile. It's a crocodile, excuse me. And they would melt that down, and then you'd have your anointing oil for all of your royal family. But you must save from Hamashiach, the Messiah. You are the self-savior. You make yourself whole. You make yourself sound and well. That's what healing is supposed to do. This is how we get all the way back to the word healing, right? That's your job. The word heal, right, from its Gothic, from its German, from its Old English, literally means to make whole. You are unhealed if you are half of yourself. If you are living with unclaimed shame. This is what Krishnamurti meant when he said you're a second-hand person. This is what he meant. To heal is to be whole. I just need you to understand that, okay? Now, let's get deep. Tonight's time. Are you under attack or under reconstruction? Right? Shame from the Middle English. Shaman from Old English. Oh, scamian, like scam, scamian. To be ashamed, blush, feel shame. Then you get Old English, right? To cause shame, the root of shame, right? And we start to find out shame is just feeling uncomfortable, feeling embarrassed. Now watch me take it up a notch, feeling exposed, right? I know you don't want to hear it tonight, but I'm going to give it to you. Tonight's topic, divine reconstruction. Are you under attack or under construction? In a world where shame is often demonized, tonight's topic seeks to explore that shame, when embraced, can catalyze profound transformation. Rooted in quantum mechanics and epigenetics, shame might be able to transcend mere emotion, becoming an alchemical force that weaves the personal with the collective. Tonight's thesis, we're going to try to integrate, right, the paradox of shame as both a shadow and a sacred driver, revealing how it can potentially ignite creativity while entangling individuals in karmic cycles. By reframing shame as a crucible for growth and accountability, we can try to challenge conventional wisdom, daring to ask, can true liberation be born from the depths of our shame-laden souls? I know you don't want to hear it put that way. Transmuting the shadow into gold. Can the journey through shame act as a spiritual alchemical process, allowing individuals to convert their inner shadow into a powerful catalyst for creative expression? Or does it risk binding them further within traumatic cycles? I'm interested to know. Collective shame versus ancestral honor. How can societies plagued by collective shame leverage their ancestral legacies to redefine worth, transforming pain into cultural significance rather than perpetuating victimhood? Are you ready for tonight? Do you have shame? Are you ready to claim your shame? The phone lines will be open, 1-800-920-1580. Let's cook! Blackout, what'd that mean? Marcel, what up, what up, what up? Let's all get on the phone tonight. Can we do that? Here come Herschel. Herschel, man. Let me just say, brother, I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Let's all get on the phone. Let's talk. What are we willing to claim tonight? Everybody hit that like button. Hit that like button. Can we all get the like button cracking? All these people in here. I'm almost out of my elixir. I'm told. What? What happened? What? Wait, huh? Oh, wait. Yeah. Hey, just in case. Yes. I know you don't be trying to be fun. What do you mean? Nzinga, what did I do? Talk to me, Nzinga. What did I do? Do I have to scroll in the back? Did you find the first song? Did you find the first song? It's on YouTube. It's right there. Hey, I don't know how you guys listen to the music. This is my behind the scenes. You can't hear the music on my behind the scenes. But if you have another phone, I'm telling you now, you want to, or if you have it on your app, you want to hear the music tonight. No, I know Nzinga sometimes she says she could hear it somewhere else, like not here, but somewhere else. Did I miss somebody donating? No. That was Herschel. Thank you, brother Herschel. We're at $26.99. I appreciate it. And if you want to go to my Cash App, just go there. I'll get it immediately. Hey.
The type of grief that I decided that was most fitting for adult survivors of family scapegoating is a grief called disenfranchised grief. Disenfranchised grief is a term that Ken Doka, a grief researcher, came up with, and he did quite a bit of work with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and many people know her 5 Stages of Grief, which was actually those studies were done on people who were dying. Some people think it's from the family or loved ones, but on the stages someone dying goes through. And so Ken Doka, D-O-K-A, in 1989, he began researching and writing about disenfranchised grief. And disenfranchised grief is experienced when someone suffers a loss that is not or cannot be openly acknowledged, socially sanctioned, or publicly mourned. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I'd also like to comment that I know grief is talked about in relation to scapegoating. I have seen other people talking about that, which is great. The term I most often see used is estrangement grief. I don't like to use that term because for me, as someone who knows this both personally and professionally and walk a similar path to my clients and have for years, estrangement grief to me suggests that I might be grieving, or one is grieving the loss of certain relationships or loss of family relationships, and that may be true, but not always. Some people, to be honest, they celebrate when they can extract themselves from abusive relationships, when they can have the boundaries needed to cease contact with people who are not loving toward them. And when they step back, they realize, well, was the relationship ever loving? What was the relationship based on? Maybe I had to be fawning, submitting, accommodating. The other person was bullying or narcissistic or controlling. So I don't see it as estrangement grief in all cases. Sometimes, certainly, it is. There may be estrangement grief associated with lost connections with nieces, nephews, people connected to the people, those in your life who were scapegoating you. But what I wanted to put in my book on family scapegoating, abuse, and in my research was information on disenfranchised grief, because I don't think this type of grief is recognized in scapegoated people. I think scapegoated people often don't recognize it in themselves. And I think sometimes people can get stuck in anger, or what I call righteous rage, in part because that can be an unconscious defense mechanism, so that the grief isn't felt. Grief can feel so overwhelming, for some disempowering, makes them feel really vulnerable. One might feel more empowered if they stay in the anger or in that righteous rage. It's definitely a stage in recovery we need to pass through. This showed up in Kubler-Ross's research as well, anger. But grief, to fully heal and transcend these family scapegoating dynamics and the trauma and the intrapsychic wounds that are experienced in association with FSA, grief is a passage. We must.
All right, we coming to the phone lines. Attila, you said something that was crazy in the chat. What did you say? I think you alluded to me reading it. Everybody, I want to say what up, what up? Welcome into the behind the scenes. This setup feeling excellent. Yeah. Welcome to the behind the scenes of the Voice of Reason. I'm Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Come on, Herschel. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Herschel. Herschel been wilding all week long. Everybody, please thank anybody who hits the Cash App or the Super Chat. Herschel has been hitting the Super Chat all week long. Anybody who hits the Super Chat, I want everybody to support them, right? And give them love, show them love, say thank you, all of that, right? Just do that for me. Just show them love, just say thank you. We appreciate it. Herschel's been on fire all week long. You can use what Herschel is using, which is that little $sign at the bottom of the chat, and you can give $2, $3. That we don't ask for much. Or you can send that same $2 or $3 to my Cash App, which is right there. Victory is non-negotiable. Just posted it, and that's $sign Zoe Nectar in the Cash App. All right. DW Marie, what up? Hello, hello, hello. What are some ways cultures have weaponized shame as a defense from oppression? Does utilizing shame as a weapon equalize the oppressed and the oppressor? It depends on the results. If you used weaponized shame as fuel for the type of righteousness, right, that she talked about, this righteous anger, this righteous indignation because of the shame that has, welled up in you after taking whatever abuse. Maybe you can weaponize that, right? Maybe. But then to what end? Right? Anakin Skywalker suffered from righteous indignation. Did he not? Anakin found those people who killed his mother. And of course, as a Jedi, you can't go for revenge. Am I not supposed to be talking? Ah, hell. Okay. Shout out to the Jesus folk. What up, y'all? Shout out to the Jesus. Shout out to the Jesus folks. Man, young Skywalker said, "You fuck with my mama, I'm killing everybody. Babies, dogs, animals, pets, elderly. Everybody's getting killed in this camp. Everybody." That's what Anakin did. And then they cut to Yoda. Yoda's like, "Oh, shit. Great pain. Young Skywalker is in great pain." Ah! Ah! Lord Vader was not bullshitting, but what are you doing? You're going down the pathway to the dark. You're down the path of the dark side. That's the issue. Fuck it, then. People been hitting me up all week about me and Grady. Well, fuck it then. But that's what happened. Taking revenge for the people who killed his mother was one of those steps towards the dark side. And they felt it. What if pain is all one has? Pain is never all one has because pain is an indicator of something larger. You have a pain in your shoulder, that indicates something is up, right? It's the indicator, right? Pain is like the check engine light in a car. It's always associated with something else. So, Lloyd, the real question should be, what if pain is all I focus on? What if pain is all I have left? What if pain is all I hold on to? Then we start to peel the layers back on that. The wolf you feed. Mm-hmm.
personal responsibility. And we're stuck in what's called the adapted wounded child state. We're all children. And this is evidence when we blame somebody else by saying, you made me think, feel, do, or believe. All right? So a blame shifter does this. In their sentence will be, well, that's because you. So there's a because and a you. And so right there, they're staying the child because they can't take responsibility as an adult yet. They may be 70 years old. But that's, I've talked about this in countless videos. People don't realize.
My. I just want to know. I want you to share with me tonight. I know these are tough topics. I know. But I'm not going to take my foot off the gas. They done let me loose into the Los Angeles radio market now. I'm here now. So we have to have these conversations. The dark side of vulnerability is the contemporary glorification of vulnerability, a trap that inadvertently compels individuals to wallow in shame, veiling their true emotional landscape with performative authenticity. Like he said, because and a you. Well, the reason why I'm like this is because this happened. Huh? Are you taking away your own self-efficacy? Ooh, shame and empathy in the digital realm. Could social media platforms, by invoking feelings of shame, act as accelerants for digital narcissism, right? Leading to deeper relational alienation rather than fostering authentic connections? I want to know. Shame as a type of fuel or energy. In what ways could harnessing the vibrational frequency of shame, which has been calibrated, according to Dr. David R. Hawkins, at 20 hertz, as a form of psychophysical energy, which could lead to breakthroughs in therapy by channeling it towards personal empowerment and societal transformation? Can we do it? Is there a karmic debt associated with shame? We've got callers on the line, and I'm going to get to them. Does enduring systematic shame, Black folk, within societal structures, such as racism or classism, actually entrap individuals in karmic cycles, perpetuating a familial inheritance of shame that becomes a barrier to transcendence? I'm interested to know. Let's get these callers on. Let's get ready to cook. Who's been on the longest? You already know. My brother John from Mountain View, Hawaii. John, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Greetings and blessings, chat. Honors to you, Zoe. Another one of these topics, and I'm going to take off running again. Let's start.
Come on.
Let's start at the point of shame.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, if you didn't understand the necessity of it, okay, I'll take it to a scripture. And this one, most of the parents know. The parents will understand this by telling this to their kids all the time. Honor your father and your mother, right? Sir, ma'am, did you or did you not pass up the point where you weren't supposed to piss off your kids too?
Ooh, here we go.
Let the shame begin. But at the same time, let's understand what the shame is supposed to do. Everybody is distracted. Your distraction is this quote-unquote purpose you call being in this job, doing this work, being this entrepreneur, chasing after this woman, going to the destination. But those of us on our real purpose are the ones that actually see ourselves.
So you're saying I can use the absolute lowest level of consciousness, according to Dr. David R. Hawkins' consciousness grid. The lowest level is shame. You're saying I can use it as a catalyst to motivate, inspire, and perpetuate growth. Is that what you said? You said that's the bottom floor. There's nowhere else but up. Is that what you're telling me?
Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice.
Ooh, here we go. Come on, I'm listening. Teach me.
Again, if you're on your purpose, i.e., developing and realizing the real you, accepting who that is, and in the place where you have the greatest opportunity to move in any direction you want.
So wait.
Are you missing the point?
Woo.
I'm saying.
No, you cook it right now because I don't think the world is you telling me, just like in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, they say don't bring him in here until he's hit rock bottom, because if he comes in here, he's just gonna participate for a little bit, then they're gonna leave. They're not serious. Rock bottom is when it's serious, right? Are you telling me that the consciousness level of shame, which is vibrating at 20 hertz, the lowest level of consciousness, is actually the light at the end of the tunnel? Ooh, come on, I'm listening, preacher.
But, sir, kind sir, ministers of all the world have been stating this to the very same effect. When you're in your pain, don't you see God?
Ooh. You see all kind of stuff. God, the devil, hot sauce. You see everything when you in your pain. Come on.
But again, choose a distraction or choose the level you want to be on. And I know I want to be with myself. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
So that is the bottom floor. See, the reason why I keep reiterating this point, because it's so powerful. And I don't know if everybody who is rocking back and forth with their church fans saying, that's right, that's the bottom level, can't go nowhere else but up. I don't know if they're going to agree with me tomorrow. When tomorrow topic rolled through here, I don't know if tomorrow they're gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna say, but remember I said, Pastor John, he called from Hawaii, and Pastor John has said, go ahead, brother, I'm listening.
And as people say, I'm standing on it.
Ooh. Hey, Pastor John, guess what you just did, brother?
Bless you all, Mountain Views in the house.
Come on, man. Love you, man. Hey, okay, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. We on fire tonight. Listen, if you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we got South Central Los Angeles. We got Pensacola, Florida. We got Houston, Texas. If you want to bring your city into this most august panel of callers from all over the country, all you got to do is call. All right? I want to hear from you. Deuces. Tomorrow, they're going to be like, hell no.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Tomorrow, they're going to be like, hell no.
The initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death.
Nah.
Offered through the initiative include
hell nah. That's what they're going to be on tomorrow. Hell no. That's how they're going to say it. Hell nah.
Police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during
So
arrest,
my daughter has taught my granddaughter
transport,
that.
or incarceration. The autopsy
So my granddaughter, she's a girly girl.
request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim.
Very much a girly girl.
The victim's spouse, partner, relative,
You know,
close friend, or lawyer.
she called me the other day on FaceTime. She had glitter and shit all over her face, and I said, "What is this? What?" She was like, "I did my makeup, Pop. It's just makeup. It's nothing." Okay, all right. So, you know, she's a little pretty girl. She's starting to get low-key a little bullied by other kids. So her only aunt, her daddy's sister, she said, if somebody try to come up to you and fight you, You tell them I needs that and then squabble up.
Ooh,
So
tiramisu.
they on FaceTime, I'm watching them, and Nuri is like, squabble up. I needs that.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
I said, hey, man, you can't teach her that. Don't do that. Because that's not, she's a
She still needs
girly
to get my
girly.
name and what we're
It's like,
talking about.
I needs that. Squabble up. And then now they done turned it into a dance. So they doing the squabble up dance from the video. So I'm saying, you not really teaching her how to script. Hey, long time no hear from, long time no see. What up, Yogi Fish? Thank you, brother. So now she's saying it. I needs that. Squabble up. But the only one she gonna squabble up with is her aunt because they be playing. So we on some squabble up. Everybody say what's up to brother Yogi Fish.
We're unapologetically progressive.
Avoidantly attached wants you to know. Growing up, I never got safety or attunement. Instead, I was met with criticism or was completely ignored. So withdrawing is my survival mechanism. My nervous system goes into a flee response. I feel trapped often, and I think the solution to having intense emotions is to run away from them. I'm hypersensitive to criticism, and I view any conflict as a personal attack. I was never shown that people can grow closer together through healthy communication. I fear conflict so much, I don't speak up for myself. Until one day I become so overstimulated that I shut you out. I blame you for this and struggle to see how it's my own fear of vulnerability. I feel smothered by your emotions and needs. No one showed me how to meet my needs, so meeting yours feels impossible. At one time, being dependent on someone was terrifying. Being hyper-independent gives me the illusion that I'm safe. Ironically, it only keeps us farther apart. I spent most of my childhood alone in my room. Being alone with no one to perceive me or judge me is the only place that I feel like I can be myself. Sometimes when I'm with you, I feel like all of my flaws are on display. Here,
Man, she's on fire. And that's Perla. I mean, I have my reservations on Perla. No, man, I listened to Dr. Shoshana Johnson. And if Dr. Shoshana Johnson go, hey, Zoe, hold on, pimp. Not that one. Don't do that one. I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? So, it's rare you hear Perla up on here, man. Hey, I got pulled to the side. Listen, I got pulled to the side like LeBron should have did Stephen A. Shouldn't have been on the court. Dr. Jashana, hey, that's my sister. I love that sister. I love her husband. I love her family. Jashana Johnson pulled me to the side, said, hey, bro, this right here, nah, pimp, we not doing that. We not rocking with that. I said, cool. Yeah, I'm rolling with Dr. Jashana. What we on? It's KBLA on mines. Whoop. I'm just saying that's how it went down, you know. But that little clip was very interesting. And I'm saying we all deal with some level of shame. I'm just saying if you don't claim it, you're going to be in the position to be a blame shifter. It's claim over blame. If there's no claiming of the internal shame, then there's no reframing of that very same internal shame. You want to reframe it. It doesn't have to be this psychomagnetic, toxic, you know, uh, isotope in your spirit. Like that's just corroding everything about you. It doesn't have to remain, but you have to lean into it with empathy, with compassion, with non-judgment. It's part of your self-acceptance ritual that needs to take place that leads you to self-awareness. To be aware of yourself is to know yourself. And many of us are so invested in hiding ourselves. Remember, shame is very closely related to fear. Shame, guilt, fear. Where there's shame, guilt, and fear, there is a propensity to hide. What is hiding but repression and suppression? One is conscious, one is unconscious. Right? Now let's not play with it. If you hide in any aspect of your shadow from your significant other, you're not in a real relationship. Why? Do you understand? You're on stage. You're on relationship stage. In order to have a real relationship with another real person, you must have a real relationship with yourself. And where there is a low level of self-acceptance, right, you have a dysfunctional self relationship, or what is known as an intrapersonal relationship. That's where the real quality of loving is developed. Just listen. It all starts in childhood, right? Yep. Whatever is missing from childhood, right? Yep. Then you create all these coping mechanisms to make it through life, right? Yep. Do you know part of the coping mechanism is to accept the identity of the wounded warrior, somebody who got hurt, somebody who wasn't given everything they were supposed to get? So unconsciously, you're creating coping mechanisms to make it to the next moment, to make it to the next day. And then you get good at it. You get good at self-manipulation. You get good at negative self-talk, negative lies. It's just, you see, and that is the relationship you have with yourself. And then, paradoxically, oh my God, I want somebody to love me. Wow. Oh my goodness. We got callers on the line. In Zinga, Pensacola, Florida. Get in here. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Like that man said, if you need to tune me out for a while.
Is that what happened? Because I know I went on a tangent. Forgive me.
No, not that. Just it's evoking. It's definitely what the gentleman said. It's shame can be a triggering topic. So you're doing an excellent job, though.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. But did you have any questions, or did you want to lean into something? Come on. I'm like Rick James with the orange aura. Come on.
I think that shame can be passed down. In some instances, it can even be learned. Because things I've read before that things like depression and stuff can be learned, from a parent to a child. So it leads me to believe that shame could be too. But I really think a lot of times it's passed down. Especially I think, I can't speak for men, but I'm sure men have their own crosses to carry. But I know for women, we pass down ovum, we share eggs. And so I think that, that's a big thing because I think, shame can be passed down. And if you're not careful, it becomes a generational curse for families.
Come on.
And so, it's a lot of symptoms. So, you can have unworthiness, self-love deficiency, attachment, disorganized attachment styles. You have all those things. I think that can be symptoms of shame if they're not caught. And I think you were right. shame can be a catalyst, but you know, you've had to have enough. You know, you've had to have your fill of it because, and let's be honest, everybody doesn't suffer from shame. Some people, you know, they don't care. But I could say it definitely was a catalyst, but also a thorn in my side. It's like,
But
so
how are
now
you
I don't know.
how are you getting through it? How are you putting one foot in front of the other now that you know this, because you seem exceedingly adroit on what the process is and where it comes from? And I mean, you're talking about generational curses, which I call generational curriculum, generational courses, right? So think about it. You got a great great grandmother who was abused, psychologically, emotionally, shamed, and you were in her. Isn't that do you see? Because the grandmama, the grandmama, the grandmama to the mama, do you see? Then you. That's crazy. So tell me how you put one foot in front of the other, understanding that if you look at it like in this broad sense, gosh, I gotta heal this. Don't answer yet. Stay with me. When we come forward, we're gonna get in Zinga's thoughts. And Zinga, you cooking. I lost my heart on the carousel to a circus girl who left my heart in pieces. The circus girl was a clown. Carousel is one of the dopest records. Got replaced by Human Nature, though. I love that, Ella. Once you become aware, you could choose another pattern. I love that. You guys are hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Listen, if you guys enjoy the content, the hour number one just flew by here. That's the lyric. I lost my heart to a circus girl who ran away. That's the name of the song, Carousel. But you get to say it. Anyway, what was I saying? You done distracted me. I'm trying to build. Listen, you or my daughter can't punk me. I can say Michael Jackson if I want to. Boy. My daughter did try to punk me today, though. She called me early this morning. She was like, Herschel, back at it. What up, Herschel? Listen, we $4 away from $50. If you guys want to get us to $100, we have enough people in here. If everybody gave $3 that didn't do it, we could get to $100. Herschel is cooking. But my daughter tried to punk me today. She was like, bring your Ancestry.com kit. The kit you got for Christmas. It's time to find people. What's happening? I said, God damn. It's in the car anyway. Okay, bring it.
Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this is gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child
Yeah,
support.
she wild.
Very heated topic.
How is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I was like,
And Zinga, you cooking.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with the bad touch routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my lips.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
So William,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Parenting styles, again, think of self-consumed, not just NPD, but it can be that too. The first is neglectful. whether they're emotionally neglectful or they're really not present. It's like the parent who feels like almost like a stranger. There's the immature style, which might require the child to be the parent. Things like emotional incest, surrogate spouse, parentification, a needy parent, a parent who can't tolerate abandonment. They might do a lot of attention seeking. Another narcissistic parenting style is overbearing, super critical, super infantilizing, super controlling, enmeshed, highly anxious, super neurotic. Another is overwhelming, which looks like the prior one, but I mean more that in like the terror-inducing parent, highly intrusive parent, the energy vampire parent, the parent who lives vicariously through you, which is like this parent is like a force to be reckoned with. Then there's something I call just simply mind effers. These are the competitive narcissistic parent. The parent who is they're the only ones who are ever right. The jealous parent, the vindictive parent, the gaslighter, the parent who is dismissive of a child's reality and their self, the parent who easily...
Listen, Patrick is cooking. Patrick Teehan, he's cooking. But if you got any of what he's talking about, I'm sure you got a little bit of shame. Do you understand? We run to relationships, the worst place to run to. I don't care how good it's been, for how long. At some point, what hasn't been dealt with will come to the surface. And whatever conflict management skills, tools you have, we're going to see how good you are at using them. See, conflict is the conduit for growth. Not if you're an avoidant. Avoidance see any level of criticism or tough conversations or conflict as a personal attack in a lot of ways. Anxious preoccupieds want to know. Let's go ask. Fearful avoidant is both, depending on which way they're leaning at the time. Man, shame is virtual in this society with this level of unhealed wounds walking around. Come on, man. Everybody's got some kind of shame, and it must be dealt with. Look at how Dr. David R. Hawkins frames it. Shame does not exist. It vibrates. Ooh, let that just, oh my goodness. Shame does not exist. It vibrates at 20 hertz. Dr. David R. Hawkins' map of consciousness places shame just above death. It's zombie love out here in these streets if you're unhealed. Listen, go get his book. Quincy Jones is the one who told me to read it for the very first time. And that book is Power versus Force. But like I said, there's a whole series of those. Power versus Force, the hidden determinants of human behavior. Dr. David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. Go check it out. All right. Dr. David R. Hawkins' map of consciousness places shame just above death. A psychic black hole, collapsing selfhood into fractal echoes of ancestral betrayal. Who was the latest and the first? Listen, two things are right at the same time. Who was the latest and the first ancestor to betray you? It was your primary caregiver, according to Bowlby, John Bowlby, Mary Ainsworth, and the many people who have come after them. Do you see? The latest and the first. And then you continue the generational legacy of suppression, repression, of coping mechanisms. Do you see? Shame finds its way into your relationship, and the question becomes, is it there just because you packed it in your suitcase and you carried it with you? No, it's there as a catalyst for growth. Soon as it gets rocky, I'ma pop up. Now, you're left at the moment of truth. How do you deal with your shame when it pops up? Do you see? Tonight's topic, we posit shame not as an emotion, but as an epigenetic quantum code. a holographic program that Thomas Campbell talked about that entangles oppressed and oppressor in karmic loops until cellular memory transmutes it into divine fuel. You can use shame to elevate. People always say it, and they say it like it's just so easy. Raise your vibration. If you're vibrating, you're alive. But this is the lowest level of vibration. So maybe this is what Dr. Cheyenne Bryant means when she alludes to people being low vibrational. Maybe this is the point she's trying to bring home. Right? I'll give her that. Neurobiological crucibles, shame as mitochondrial warfare. Chronic shame, per Patricia DeYoung, corrodes the anterior cingulate cortex, the neural bridge between Carl Rogers' self-regard and Jean Piaget's cognitive schemas. fMRI scans reveal subjects drowning in shame exhibit prefrontal deactivation mirroring, dissociative states. That's Schiraldi, Glenn R. Schiraldi, author of the book, The Self-Esteem Workbook, right? Their amygdala hijacked by cortisol tsunamis. Bruce Lipton's epigenetics suggest maternal shame during pregnancy. Methylates fetal NR3C1 genes, priming guilt, shame as homeostasis. Wait a minute. Homeostasis is when you're normal, when everything is balanced. Homeostasis. Talking about the central nervous system here. If it's in the genes, shame becomes normal, guilt becomes normal. Do you see what I'm... And Zinga was just on here, and I'm going to get back to her. She telling me all these grandmamas that I was in a bunch of grandmamas. And finally, my mama was born. Then I was, come on. If they're holding that shame, is it deposited into me? A spiritual curriculum that must be dealt with by me, or it passes on? Black women bearing Queen Afua's womb trauma inherit mitochondrial shame mutations that sabotage relational choices, a biological curse or alchemical blueprint. Listen, I keep trying to tell you, just because we named it shame and its claim to fame, right, is to break one down, is to be, like it said, to be embarrassed, to hide, to be shown up. Listen, shame can be an elevator for growth. It is an alchemical catalyst to growing, but you have to shift it. Why? Why do you have to shift it? And how do I know it's an alchemical catalyst? It's very simple. As above, so below. So below, as above. Do you understand? The great Kabbalion teaches even the lowest of the low can be transmuted into the highest of the high. You just have to shift your perspective. Now, if it becomes an archetypal name that has this, like Lucifer, as soon as you hear, oh Lord, here you go. No, sir. We don't play with him. That's because, for instance, let me not use Lucifer, because that'll turn into a whole dissertation, right? But let's just say the serpent. The word in Hebrew is nakas, the whisperer. Nakash, 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 the whisperer. It also means divination, but it literally means whisperer. Some English dude said, nah, we're going to say serpent because a serpent hisses. And over generations, because they use the iconography of serpents, people scared of snakes because of its representation in the Bible. In the Quran, it's Al-Khanas, the whisperer. Whisperer, not serpent, like not snake. Do you see? So imagine all this stuff coming into you, right? Black women bearing Queen Afua's womb trauma, inherit mitochondrial shame mutations that sabotage relationship choices, a biological curse, or an alchemical blueprint. It doesn't have to be a curse. The curse is contingent upon your perspective. Now, if you go out into the relationship talk world, are they preaching curses or the alchemical blueprint? All I know is a man has to make $200,000 a year. He got to pay for me. I know I work, but I keep my money. His money is our money. My money is my. Wait, hold on. She can't wear them big old eyelashes. That's one thing she can't do. Them push brooms, them caterpillars on her eyes, I don't want to see it. If I see glue on your forehead, listen, glue on your forehead is a turnoff. Man, I got caught up in the rabbit hole. I got caught up in the rabbit hole watching the balloon pop show. I said, what in the Feast of Samhain is going on here? Man walk out, pop, 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 pop. What? What in the world? I didn't like the way his pants fit. And then his shoes, those shoes was hot like 4 years ago. What? Huh? What? You know what? Pop, why you pop your balloon? Ain't she? Well, she said she was 27, but her face was wrinkled like an old change purse my big mom used to carry in her brassiere. No, this is a whole show that's happening. This is what we're choosing to talk about. So can it be this repeat of toxicity? Yes. But should it be? No. It can be an alchemical blueprint. We can take the shame that lives in us and turn it into something else. I got callers on the line. I want to get them in here real quick. Nzinga, can I get your final thought?
Hello?
Yeah, you back with me. Talk to me, sugar.
Oh, okay, so you had for what do I do to put one foot in the other, in front of the other?
Yes.
I would say psychoeducation. For me, getting rid of the negativity bias trails in my brain.
Ooh.
I'm forging some new paths. Because I go there by default. And so just grace and gratitude. Because I'm not really, I'm doing this for me. Because like you talked about the healing versus the growth. I think you're stunted until you take a little accountability for yourself. And realize that, some things need to be addressed. And then you can begin. I think that's where the growth is. So I'm doing this for me, but I'm doing this for my mom too.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you judge yourself negatively? 1 being, hardly ever, 10 being most of the time. Where are you?
Okay, well, I was at an 11.
Ooh.
But grace is a great thing because as I give it to myself, I can give it a little more freely to others. So I would say right now I'm at like maybe a 7, but I call out things. Whatever I'm feeling, I call it out. And I don't, where I was kind of judging myself and getting upset, I'm at a point where when I find myself like maybe dwelling on the past or in a shame, whatever I'm going through, I'll call it out. And it's like maybe I made a wrong turn, so now I just got to make a U-turn where you're not upset, you got to make a U-turn, but you just know you got to go in a different direction.
I love it.
So ultimately I'll get to the point where I'm just observing things. So.
Come on, Nzinga. Come on. You safe here. I hear you talking. You so sweet. I love it, man. Let's all pour some love, some honeydew melon love on Nzinga for sharing. Man, you were transparent. I appreciate you so much for sharing that because I know that that's not an easy thing to do. You said you were 7. You know what I'm saying? And that's not an easy thing to acknowledge. And the fact that you can acknowledge what's really going on, that's a sign of advancement, of growth, of expansion, right? And let me tell you
I'm gonna
something.
celebrate myself too.
You should, girl. What you finna go
I never
do?
used to. But
What you finna go do?
probably go to Chili's Friday.
Come on. What we eating at
2 for
Chili's?
1.
Come on. 2 for 1?
2 for 1 margaritas, yes, Lord. But yeah, I'm gonna yield to the other. Thank you so much, God. I appreciate you and Pensacola in the building.
Pensacola, Florida is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the house, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, one of our favorites, 2 of our favorites. You already know what it is. As a matter of fact, why don't you hook him up right now so he'll get an idea? Our good friend is on his way. Y'all know who he is. JW from South Central. Let's get it. You hear that music? You hear that motherfucking music, boy? You hear that music? You know what it is. Yo, that music come on. You know what that means. J-Dub, don't play with me tonight, Jay. Because, you know, Jay, I love Jay. He started off like, listen, I got a lot to say. If you just give me a little bit of time, I'll be... Hell no, Jay.
Should I fade it in or just hit you hard with it?
No, fade it in.
Okay.
We wildin' if we faded it. Oh, we be wildin' if we fade him. I want to shout out Lloyd Hinton and my brother Gilbreth, Pastor John Gilbreth. Those are the 2 cash apps that we got. To make it clear, I want everybody, please shout those brothers out. We got 2 cash apps over the last hour and 20 minutes, and it came from those 2 brothers, Lloyd Hinton and our good brother John Gilbreth. These are both our solid good brothers. Them, Heru Ali, True Monger, nephew. Because he got so many names, I be wanting to say Nazarene X. But all the good brothers that be in here, if I don't say your name, Suge Mac 510, y'all know the names. Y'all put their names in here. The brothers that are Yogi Fish, y'all put the names in here. These brothers are always supporting. And y'all know, I'm going to change it to nephew now, as you should. Theo, yep. Y'all know, man, like, there's 2 ways, right? You give to the super chat, which is the channel, you know. That's something I get once a month from YouTube, and you know, YouTube takes their lion's share. But when you give to my Cash App, I get it right now. I get it immediately. So, you know, I give you guys the option, whichever you want to do. You don't have to do both, whichever one you want to do. But oftentimes there are a lot of people in there. Cali Soul, of course, Nikki from the SIP, Atala, Nzinga, Mimi. Y'all help me with the names. What's our girl? Our Scorpio girl. Neek is the night. It's so many of you guys. I just can't remember everybody's name. Please forgive me. Do not take it as a slight if I don't say your name here. Just know. Oh, LS Jefferson, man. LS Jefferson. So many people, man. Xylon, all these folk. I'm just saying, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, but we got a couple of ways to support. Super Chat or Cash App.
exactly, who were your biggest support systems, and if you had anybody in your life that maybe did not understand.
Great question. I don't think I've had anybody in my life who didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also think when confessing, there's this notion of like scraping the pot clean. So guys are awful. People are awful, but I'll speak to my experience mostly with guys, are awful at coming clean with whatever it was they're doing. And my therapist at the time gave me this analogy. It's like scraping a pot of chili when you're done cooking. You reach in, you think you got it all, then it's like, wait, nope, there's more. So we got to keep going in. I think when the pot is scraped clean or clean enough, that's where more freedom can be accessed, right? So again, there's not a lot of shame that's being held behind. Now, sharing your story is really hard. So I made this declaration 5 years ago when I did a workshop. And my declaration was, I'm going to share my story with 5 people in Phoenix because I want to be a catalyst for hope and healing for men in their marriages. That was like the scariest thing ever 5 years ago, was to share this story with 5 people. Oh, yeah. And since then, I've shared in many different settings at churches, in other secular environments as well. I lead these groups, and now here we are doing this podcast. The point is sharing your story and doing it in a way to where you can draw people into empathy and compassion instead of judgment is important. And I think to do that, you have to be genuine about it. If I was sitting here telling this story and talking about, porn and sex addiction and why it's bad, blah, 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 but I still have a problem, all right, you're going to see right through that. Right. Then I also think, I've kind of plumbed the depths of this thing with, again, where did that pain come from? And so with my story, again, with my mom dying when I was 5, and that leading to a destabilization of where do I get love from, yeah, I had to dive into that. And so I actually called people who knew my mom. So my mom...
Oh, I can empathize with the brother. Oh, I can empathize with him. But you do know that sometimes it's just about rewording it, just like I'm asking you to recontextualize this concept of shame as an alchemical blueprint for elevation, right? Why not recontextualize the desire? Listen to what he just said. Where am I going to get love from? After my mom died, right? She died when what did he say? When he was 5 years old. He said, so where do I get love? We have to understand that should never be a desire. Who's going to love me? Right? That should never be a desire. Who's going to love me? Why? Because you are love. Once you become love, you'll see love everywhere, and love will be drawn to you. It'll gravitate. It'll find you. But what I'm trying to say is, unhealed wounds are like the fly in the ointment. It obscures the true sight of love. And the more we identify with the fly in the ointment, proverbially speaking, right? The more we identify with that, the more we get caught up and we get anxiety, we get worried, then there's fear, then there's guilt, and I made a mistake. Then we get self-critical. Do you see? We've got callers on the line. JW, South Central Los Angeles. You know we want to hear from J-Dub. J-Dub, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
First of all, Mom's is home. The hospice people brought her home.
All right.
So praise God for all the prayers and all the above.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. To move straight to the subject matter, I mentioned on previous shows about pain is a good teacher. I would like to equate pain with shame. And then I would like to say, based on all the physical traits and terminologies that you expressed, these are physical things that are in the earthly realm. And, just to paraphrase the Word of God, You know, Satan has dominion over that earthly realm, but God has over flesh, and God has dominion over spirit. And in terms of you mentioning healing in the process, this is a spiritual conditioning that takes place. And over past shows, I would mention the word trestle board. I think you know what I'm talking about, and some other people do too. But for the ones that don't,
Wait, hold on,
wait.
hold on 1 second. We up against the clock. Stay with me. I want you to finish. You actually cooking, J-Dub. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, brother. When we come forward, more from South Central Los Angeles. Ella, good night. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here for as long as you could. But yo, this show is almost over. We got about 22 minutes left. Sometimes my niece don't understand. Do you guys remember the 18? No, I'm talking about you, Attila. Attila was already, Attila was like home chick in what's that movie? Harlem Nights. I'm like the blind dude with the glasses. I'm like, can you go in there and make some hash? I got some hash and some bread. And so we get we have a topic already set up for today. And then I change direction through our conversation. I'm like, nah, listen, God damn it. So I get my mouth all ready for some tuna fish and it some corn and ash. This is tuna fish, you old blind motherfucker. But it comes together because in that conversation, I said, okay, we're not doing that topic. We're gonna push that topic to Thursday. This is where the topic is. And she was salty for a minute. Tell the truth, niece. Niece was like, what we not gonna fold? Niece was like, I don't follow you. Hey, but guess what? Her and I going back and forth, we made that thing happen. And now, boy, no, you can't crash out. Get your butt in here. No, but how this thing is going to flow into tomorrow, I know she's as I ain't gonna break no glass this no, I know she's as interested to see the reactions to how people respond. Because I know she's listening to how they respond now. But when the apple cart get turned over, I'm really interested to see. I'm really interested to see how y'all gonna respond. Because you remember that I know she was listening to this too. Remember, John came in and said some things, and then I reiterated some things, and John, he said, I'm gonna stand on it. Boy, tomorrow, we gon' see. Shame. Suge Mac 510 is our third Cash App. I'm very thankful and appreciative that you guys are in here showing up. Very thankful and appreciative. And don't forget, hit the like button. Like it up if you haven't liked it. Man, Herschel been in here all night. I appreciate everybody. Man, Herschel back in here. Thank you, bro. Y'all can't let Herschel do it all by himself. And we got Herschel. I don't know how many Herschel. Listen, man. Let's just, man, between today and yesterday, Herschel done probably given like 20 of these super chats. Thank you, Herschel, brother. You listen, you're good. Thank you, sir. Neek is the night. We shouted you out, and then she showed up. Look at that. And don't forget, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified. Like, share, subscribe. Like. What up, Neek is the night? If we could get to 100 likes, that'd be great. Just everybody who hasn't hit the like button, hit it. All right, we're coming into the last few minutes of the show. Let's get everybody's thoughts. If you want to call in, okay? Remember, I'm in Cashville, so if you want.
Noticed as a clinician, that I was often dealing with people who had been accused in one way or another, often by themselves, of some malfeasance. And if someone was feeling very guilty and was depressed, for example, which is that's a situation where the adversary is within and is eating your soul, so to speak, you have to mount a strong defense. And, that means that you should take a very careful look at your weaknesses and your transgressions, but you should do that from the initial presumption of innocence. You have to get your ducks in order so that you can justify to yourself your own claims of innocence. And that means you also have to learn to do that without a kind of careless self-righteousness, and also without that proclivity to move toward more extreme views, which does also lurk as a temptation under such circumstances.
Wow. You know who it is? Listen, anybody that speaks a word of wisdom will have a platform here with the Voice of Reason. I'm not looking at you as the person, right? I don't look at people that way. We're all flawed, so I can't look at you as, or anyone as some type of standard. I mean, Think about how blown away we were when we see Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan is exceptional. But then when you realize the person has struggles, or Mike Tyson, you know, like you say, oh my God, look at this kid. He's destroying everybody. But then he also has internal problems. So no one is beyond that. Even Superman got kryptonite. It's really that simple. Let me get my brother in here. JW from South Central, get in here, my friend, and finish it up. Wrap up your thought, my friend.
Yeah, just to make this landing, that trestle board or chalkboard, the lesson from that is to connect to the human being. The key word is being. We are beings living a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to accept ourselves of who we truly are, that spirit within us that animates the human body or the flesh or the external human part that lives in this world realm. And we've been pretty much polluted with external forces in terms of society and suggestions and opinions and acceptance and what's right and how they dictate to us. And we have to stop trying to rationalize or justify using that brain from a physical or worldly perspective and go within internal and deal with the connection of true love and the source is God, and know that we're connected to Him and use that internal force, which will be the catalyst that free us from this worldly plane, which is God is unlimited, and the world is limited to the world system. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I think the consciousness and having a mind shift, a paradigm shift, will raise all of us. Goodbye.
Thank you, my brother. J-Dub, South Central Los Angeles, up in here cooking. Say, hey, man, I'm going to let J-Dub have his say. Why not? I'm with him, man. Listen, I got time for my next caller, right? Oh, we're good then. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, here we go. Attila, Houston, Texas. Here we go. Let's go. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Come on, niece.
I had a long, hard day, okay? I got a lot of brain fire going on. Forgive me.
Nah, you all good. But what are your thoughts on this shame thing? I don't know how they're going to act tomorrow, right?
It's going to be insane. I can't wait. I have questions. So you have said, are you under attack or under construction?
Mm-hmm.
Reconstruction, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What is the attack? Is like the reconstruction? I don't know. Like, I'm thinking of it from the perspective of someone who is sitting in intense shame. I don't know the difference between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them look the same. Angels and demons look alike.
Right.
So could you kind of expound upon how we are to differentiate the difference between the two? What does it take in terms of the inner work and the healing that we need to do to recognize the difference between the two? That someone coming to you in I guess you could say a form of loving rebuke is not an attack, but for your reconstruction. What does that look like?
So first off, we have to get rid of the binary fairy tale Disney construct of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
See, at a binary level, white, black, good, bad, God, devil. See, this is very binary thinking, right? But what you don't understand is God, as the source, is beyond all of that, which is why a lot of Christians stay away from Isaiah 45:7, when God says he is light and darkness. He is good and evil. All of this stuff he does by his leave. So when you use terminology, again, we don't use language. Language uses us, as the great Krishnamurti would say, right? So when you use language like, man, is that an angel helping me? We think that's good happening for me. Or if bad is happening, well, the devil is busy. First off, the devil has no authority. If you're really reading a book, right? The devil is like uh, an agent that works for God's insurance company. Like the devil goes out on God's missions. People don't realize that. So if I were to use, say, the 5% nation that was created by Clarence 13X, known as Puddin', right? Because he always was putting brothers in check, right? He left the Nation of Islam. He was under Malcolm X. He goes back into the streets and he creates the Nation of Gods and Earths, the 5% nation. Well, in their doctrine, they also talk about how in order to build, you must destroy. So sometimes people will label an attack because, again, if we're looking at Timothy Leary's 8-brain circuit, right, this model of this 8-circuit model of the brain, that first circuit is the oral biosurvival circuit. Is it safe? Nope, I will retreat. Let me suck my thumb. This is the lowest level of spiritual infancy. So we label things, if it's happening and it's good for me, God did it. If it's happening and it's bad for me, the devil did it. The reality of it is God is doing it all. Good, bad, and indifferent. God is the hidden hand behind it all. So certain egoic scaffolding or constructs must be dismantled in order for you to level up to newness. Now, if you're talking, well, newness is actually nowness. Because again, if we put new, we tend to go, okay, this is brand new. It has no use. It has no wear on it. But really, new is just now. Many of us are looking for a new moment while disrespecting the only moment we can be in, which is the now. So really the new moment is the recognition of the perpetual now that we're in. We give so much power and so much credence to the past. Do you see what I'm saying? The past dictates everything, right? So many of us are afraid to discard everything we've accumulated, the way we speak, our culture, what we're open to try and what we're not. So many of us are afraid to get rid of all of this scaffolding because we've identified with it. Do you see? So when you say, am I under attack? I would say, depending on your perspective and where you are consciously, how you've evolved, you may have evolved in a situation that will see this as an attack, but it's all about perspective. Does that make sense?
Well, I think we personify shame.
Ooh, right? Here we go.
We have become shame. Well, this is kind of, so it's interesting that you speak about kind of biblically, because this is reminding me of Proverbs, where it talks about, like, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but profuse are the kisses of the enemy.
Come on.
Right? So we associate wounding with the enemy, but it's actually the opposite. You can go even further. It talks about when Christ was being injured, that it pleased God to wound him. Like, what?
What? Keep going.
I think our relationship with shame is actually, like, symbolic or somewhat representative of our relationship with our parent, which is it's related to our relationship with God. If we see our parent as that domineering force, God ultimately is this God that is going to punish you type of thing, or God is this ultimate benevolent, right? To me, that's kind of like the archetypes of what Patrick Teahan was speaking to, the enmeshment. There were some other things he talked about, the different types of narcissistic parenting. I mean, I say all that to say that we truly are shaped by our environments, and we're shaped by the people who have said, I love you, but also wound us. Ooh. And I think perhaps we should normalize that both are actually present within the same person, and it's actually okay, because you're going to end up doing the same thing.
So wait a minute, because you cooking with some of the finest ingredients that I have yet to be exposed to. I love it. Or are you saying, even if you discard a person, you're still going to get the same ingredients, the same menu, just repackaged in another person until you transcend this? Because it sounded like a cycle to me.
Yeah, we like to dress it up, add a little bit of seasoning to it, and think that we're eating another dish. Like, nah, bro, it's the same ingredients. I think we try to make soul food out of our wounds. You feel me? Like, we want to take the scraps and like create this new dish, and like, look at this, but you still get high blood pressure though.
Wait a
The
minute.
effects are still the same.
Wait a minute. Are you saying we just replating? And it just Oh my God. We on fire tonight. I love, don't you go nowhere. When we come forward, I'm gonna go back to Houston, Texas for my niece's final words. This is good. Spirit chicken salad. There you go, Attila. What? 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 Hey, Herschel, come on, man. Herschel, you wildin'. Listen. What do y'all, hey, man, all of the topics this week, all of the topics this week been crazy. What was Monday? What was Monday's topic? Do y'all remember Monday's topic? Do y'all remember yesterday's topic? I mean, all of the topics have been crazy. And Neek is the night. She's our fourth Cash App. Neek is the night. So thankful. So thankful. Relationship as therapy was yesterday. What was Monday? Anybody remember Monday's topic? Soul therapy was Monday. What was yesterday? Oh, attachment tunes. Oh, shit was crazy. Oh my God. Soul therapy, attachment tunes. Tonight is shame. Boy, insecure attachment tunes was crazy. Them shits is crazy. Hey, thank you guys for the 4 people that sent me some bread so I could grab it right now. Lloyd Hinton, Pastor John, Suge Mac 510, and of course, Neek is the night. Those are the 4 people that sent me a little piece of change. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
once hurt someone very much. One feeling of guilt, such a deep, tenuous one that endures in spite of everything. I once hurt someone very much. What is the feeling of guilt?
Ain't got no videos of Krishnamurti when he was young.
Tenuous, tenacious, beg your pardon, tenacious one that endures in spite of every effort to be free of it, right? You've understood the question? Do you feel guilt?
Listen, I love Krishnamurti like the next guy, but we got to put him on earlier because Krishnamurti is like the old Superman. He needs room to run and then start flying. He just don't jump right. he needs a runway to start flying. But they done turned on the music on Krishnamurti. Don't do Murti like that, man. Oh my goodness. Let me get my niece back in here to get her final thought on tonight's topic.
Don't be disrespecting Murdy like that. Now, come on now.
Come on. That was Ann Dizzle. Ann Dizzle hit him with the Price is Right.
That's my Indian uncle. He the reason why I got that wave in my hair. You feel me? Don't be doing my Uncle T.O. Murdy like that. What's wrong with you? Put some respect on his name.
Oh my God.
I'm stupid. I'm going to say one last thing. So I realized that in my therapy, in terms of shame, I have a shame wound, I think, that has been like bubbling for a really, really long time. And I think it is in the area of performance and perfectionism. And my mom has the same wound, okay? Like the same wound. I think a lot of the things that I saw her do growing up, it worked for her. And I was convinced it would work for me, and it has not. You feel me?
Different path, yeah.
And I think that there is a beauty in messiness, and I'm learning to embrace that. But man, is it hard.
It is. It is. And let me just say, I appreciate you for being so transparent. I mean, I got a whole myriad of wounds, and worthiness wound, all that stuff, right? And just to be able to get on here, yeah, man, perfectionism, the whole 9 yards. Go ahead.
There's one more. I'll be honest. I think I've also been ashamed of being vulnerable enough to actually admit that I want to give my heart to somebody. And I think the reason why that is kind of a gatekeeper in terms of relationship is because without vulnerability, what do you really have in a relationship?
And boy, don't put no shame on top of vulnerability, then it get ugly. Lord.
Look, and then you find yourself kind of acting out in different ways that are unbecoming, right? It's not even really you. You're speaking from a place of, like I said, guilt, shame, and whatever else. It's like it's the 5-year-old you responding to the adult version of your partner. So I say all that to say, like, I think it's great when we learn to be free. And I think if we can do that, like, little by little, we should. So that's it.
Hey, guess what you just did, niece?
All right, Houston in the building.
Houston, Texas in the building. Let me tell you something. The homeboy, Nicordelai Corte. Let me just get his name right. Dr. Nicordelai Corte. He said something, he gave me a great compliment. He was like, man, you got a hell of a community. He called y'all a community. The Voice of Reason is a community, man, and I really love that. Let me just let you know, though, shame becomes attack or construction through vibrational choice. To dismantle the CIA's MK Ultra programming, Blackmore, Thich Nhat Hanh's mindfulness must fracture neuroplastic calcification, right, in boomer amygdala. For Black women, Queen Afua's womb rituals could alchemize mitochondrial shame into Erykah Badu's bag lady liberation if they reject respectability quantum lure. Oh, I know y'all not ready for what I'm on. Rumi's wound where light enters demands we stop metabolizing shame as trauma and start burning it as Hawkins radiation. You know, Hawkins radiation from black holes. Come on, I can keep going. Neuralink chips may soon detect cortisol spirals, but will they trigger Marshall Rosenberg's needs scripts or amplify the AI-driven shame singularity? We got so much more to talk about. Listen, I start the conversations. It's really up to you to finish them. The Voice of Reason is always on fire. Tomorrow's my Friday. I hope you tune in because I'm going to be ready to cook yet again. Yeah. Come on. What y'all know? I'm ready. Bad checks. I'm bad checks. I'm ready. Everybody who tapped in, everybody who shared, everybody who showed love, everybody who subscribed, everybody who followed, like, share, subscribe, follow, everybody who did everything. See, boy, you see how we do?
Yes, sir.
We turn up with the realest, boy. It happened quick, don't it? All right, man. See you tomorrow. Appreciate you all, man. Herschel, you've been wilding all week, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Your brother Zoe is out.